story.
Yeah.
I was doing Brit Awards the day of my audition for Gorillaz, and I had to juggle the two, and I was also an au pair at the time.
That's nice.
So I had to call my au pair people and tell them, I'm so sorry, this opportunity has come, I have to go.
Yeah.
They were getting sick of me anyway, because
Jumping
at
in
that
and
time,
out.
yeah, at that time, work started to pick up for me, like it was a blessing, but it was hard to juggle.
As well.
Yeah.
But no, in coming here, on the way here, I don't have a name of this, so I'm not even going to introduce it properly yet. Working title, here at Petra, and yeah, I was thinking like, even though I've known you and Josh for a while, I've not really known like your actual like journey in it. I've been around you, and I heard like when you go on tour, when you go and like different things, I see bits and pieces, but like I just assumed that it started with church. But was there anything before church? Like, were you in and around?
So kind of cliche like story. A lot of us started in church. I always knew I wanted to do music. I just didn't know the business of it, how to make money, who to talk to, and stuff like that. Like my auntie, like she's a professional singer as well and stuff. So I always kind of like followed in her footsteps kind of and just asked her a lot of questions. But my own journey really started when I went to college.
Okay.
I met up with a really cool guy who was doing worship, like in church and stuff, but he had a group of people, young like teenagers at the time, and he took us all around London, and we would like perform in churches, and we would do like gospel sets and stuff like that. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, I like this. I like getting up and going out and singing and doing stuff. Yeah, it's not just for my church. And then through him I met another person who then became more like session stuff. So it was church events, but it was also singing at people's weddings and singing at corporate events and stuff like that. And then that's when I was like, okay, this is cool. I feel like I can, you know, do this a bit more regular. What else do I want to do? And then through my great friends that I work with now, I was able to like be introduced to different people, like different musicians, up and coming artists that would do like recording stuff, and I just found my way. That was kind of how the journey started.
So going back to the very beginning, like college years, talking to like your mum and dad about being a singer. How was that first like initial conversations, introducing them?
It wasn't a shock.
They could tell from what you were on, and
it wasn't a shock just because obviously church, and they knew I had a passion for it. I think one of the regrets I have though is not probably understanding where to go to kind of enhance my music abilities. Say for example like going to Brit school or
at an early age.
At an early age, or going to an academy. I think that would have prepared them for the whole journey. But it was kind of like very quick. It was like went to college, then after that went to uni, and then did all my music stuff theory wise, got the degree. But then afterwards it was kind of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? That kind of airy thing. But they were really supportive. And my dad is a musician as well, so he wasn't like afraid. It was just more so like, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna make this a job? But so they were very supportive.
That transition period as well, when you're like getting into adulthood as well, and you're like learning about yourself. And that never ends, I guess.
It never ends.
But like, when you're like in college and in uni, obviously you went to like a uni, you were studying a musical subject in college and uni. Even like interacting with friends, like have your friends always been people in music, or is it like a mix?
I have like different groups of friends, but my musical friends, they've always been doing music. Like one of my besties, her name's Angel Silvera, shout out to her, she's amazing. She always did her own music, and when we first started to like work together and meet each other, after being best friends, it was like I started doing her backing vocals for her projects and her stuff, and that was really cool, and that opened my mind and my head to the bigger picture of the industry and what it's like, and the process of writing and
Yeah.
releasing and
Yeah.
even like getting gigs and where to go and stuff.
So when you took me to some place in East London, we went with me, you and Josh. Remember that jazz spot? It's like open mic. It's quite intimate.
Yeah.
So where does that fit in like finding like the type of music you want to perform and like gaining the confidence to actually perform?
Yeah, so that was a huge step for me actually, because like I said, I only knew church. I only knew like my comfort zone, singing in front of friends and family all the time. So then stepping out to doing open mic and actually letting people hear my voice was really daunting. But it was a good experience for me. It actually really pushed me forward, if I'm being honest, because it was a great meet-up spot for like musicians, vocalists, poets, people who did like industry stuff. And quite a few opportunities came from going there.
This is like one of the industries which is basically all relationships, I feel like.
Yeah.
As far as you're going to go as how sociable you are and who you speak to. Has that always like come naturally to you, just like meeting new people and just developing and maintaining those relationships?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, I'm quite confident. Like I don't mind having a chat with people. Like I'm all down for that. I think it's more like when you're in this industry, you just have to know who you are. And as you said, like when you're younger, you're finding your feet, you're understanding who you are. And I feel like music was a way that I could express myself. I was a lot more confident than I thought I was. But it also came with a bit of pressure, because you hear other people that have been doing it longer than you, and it's like, oh my God, like I'm not good enough to step up there and do it. But it's the pushing yourself forward and that kind of moulding and shaping that helped me now.
So as you're like growing into it a bit more and getting used to it and just meeting new people, what is like the divide between you wanting to create your own music and being a singer and just finding out, like being in the industry as a singer? Like, do you think about your own, where does you as an artist kind of come into your thinking of, okay, am I going to make it so far, make my name and then create my own music? Or is it more how do you think of it?
I think coming into what I do, as I'm a backing vocalist, I never really had in my head to be an artist or to be like the main person. That was never it for me. I think my thing was more working in an ensemble, in a piece, a choir, a backing vocalist like team. I felt comfortable there and I felt like I had more fun there. Like the pressure wasn't on me to be releasing music minute after minute and but now that I'm a bit older and I've experienced it, I do feel like you shouldn't limit yourself. If you do have a writing ability or even arranging ability, you should pursue that. You should go into that and don't let that die. So I think where I'm at now, going back to your question, like the divide, I'm still enjoying my backing vocaling. I love doing that. But I am trying to get more into vocal arranging and definitely writing. Not to pursue an artist career, but just another part of me. Something like another layer that goes with my backing vocaling and stuff.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So speaking about, there's a little gap for me, obviously, in the story. There's a little gap for me when it's like you're still making relationships and then the jump to like performing at Gorillaz or to the big artists. So speak about that little like transition period, like the auditions or just what happens.
It's a long story.
What are those steps in between to get to those two points?
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So, like I said, from college, doing little session choir stuff. Then I went to university in Middlesex, studied popular music, and then from there I was able to connect with my industry friends that I have now. And I started out doing more secular stuff. So we did I got a call from a choir called LCGC, really banging big choir, legends and all that stuff, and they were doing sessions for popular artists at the time, so like a group called 1975, and like just other things like that. And I was able to do Brit Awards with them.
Nice.
And so that kind of gave me a more professional understanding of backing vocaling and like just being a session singer and stuff like that. Like it was definitely like an eye-opener. And so that kind of became a thing. Like it was more session stuff. My name got dropped over here, and then one minute it was like Brit Awards, and next minute it was Live Lounge or something else, or radio this or YouTube, for example. And so it kind of, that was the gap for about, I want to say 2 to 3 years actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it before the career really kick-started. Yeah.
What's your like first experience or first memories of tour life, and how different is it from what you expected it to be, if you had a preconceived perception?
So I had never done a tour before Gorillaz.
And what year was that? The first one.
What was the first one? I want to say 2018 or 17, 18 was the first one. It was a 2-year tour.
2-year tour.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 1 year, but you know, my boss is a musical genius, and so you know, you just have to go with what he did, and so we were blessed with another year of touring. So sorry,
that's non-stop for 2 years.
Non-stop for 2 years. Bad. As in, we took breaks, maybe like a month off, and then we'd come back, and then like 2-3 weeks here off, then we'd come back. But it was a consistent. I talked so much, I forget. How did I feel before I started touring? So I was gassed. Like, I was super excited.
Like, I made it now. This is it.
I was like, what? So, got story. I was doing Brit Awards the day of my audition for Gorillaz, and I had to juggle the two, and I was also an au pair at the time.
That's nice.
So I had to call my au pair people and tell them, I'm so sorry, this opportunity has come, I have to go. They were getting sick of me anyway, because
jumping
at
in
that
and
time,
out.
at that time, work started to pick up for me. Like, it was a blessing, but it was hard to juggle. And then I was at Brit Awards, did that session with Justin Timberlake. Then I was like, cool, I have to go to the audition. Ran to the audition, got the job, and then I was like, okay, like, when do I hear from you guys? They were like, oh, we'll contact you like as soon as. And I was like, alright, cool, thanks. Left, shaking, nervous. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Gorillaz. Like, that was my childhood for me.
Feel Good Inc. So many like
do you know
crazy
what I mean?
tunes.
Like Rhinestone Eyes, all the bangers. Like, so I was a proper fan. So I had to hold it down. So anyway, we get to Nando's. Me and my friends get to Nando's. And I'm eating Nando's, and I'm just like, you know what, God, it is what it is. I gave it my best shot. Get the phone call, and they're like, yeah, we'd like you to start work tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow?
That's
tomorrow?
Crazy.
I was like, wait, hold on. So I got the job, and they were like, yeah, you start tomorrow.
That's mad.
My life completely changed overnight. I had to tell my parents that I was gonna leave
the country.
Like in 2 days.
That's mad.
I had to quit the au pair job, which was, you know what, thinking about it now, I always knew that I didn't want to be an au pair. Of course not, but not even of course not. No offense to anybody who's an au pair.
No, listen, like no one at 6 years old is like, I can't wait to be an au pair when I'm adult.
I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, if that's you, cool. Children are amazing. But, children outside of music, like, that is a passion of mine as well. Like, I love working with kids. I think they're amazing. I learn a lot from them. But it was never the real goal for me. So when I had to quit that, it became really real, because that was my income at the time, and it was just like, I really am leaving my 9 to 5 to start, you know, something else now. I really hope this works for me, kind of thing. So that, again, going back to like, how did my parents support me? It was more along the lines of, just be careful and make sure that this is a solid thing that you're going into. But yeah, I had to quit that, and then it just snowballed. Literally. I was learning on the job as well. I feel like I'm waffling, but
No,
I'm
no,
trying
no,
to answer
no.
your question. But yeah, I definitely learned on the job,
Mhm.
and a lot of challenges came with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
okay, at what age is your first tour? Like, how old were you when you were 2017ish?
Quick maths is not my strong point, Chin. Don't embarrass me on this camera.
Listen. I'm definitely worse than you, so there's no shame or judgment coming.
Okay, let me think back. I definitely was like, I want to say my 25th birthday was on the road. So maybe like 23,
Okay.
23, 24-ish, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I was quite much like in age. I was more mature than a lot of people that start when they're like 18, 19, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I just, learn on the job.
Yeah, grow into it. Because I'm feeling I'm closer to those, like I'm getting to 25. And just like, you have like certain milestones or just ideas of where you want to be.
Yeah.
So that getting that at that age, did that even further affirm that this is the right thing for you and like things are going in the right direction?
I felt like I had tapped into my purpose. Like the younger me always knew I wanted to do something like this, but looking at the journey, I didn't know how I was gonna get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I didn't have any, like I didn't have an agency, I didn't have an agent, I didn't have anything like that. It was literally just me, my word of mouth, and pushing myself out there and just trying to be at everything and connect with the right people. And so like
it's hustling.
Yeah, just hustling. Honestly, really
yeah.
hustling, consistency, being professional. Showing up at the right places at the right time. Having a nice face on your being able to converse with people, talk with people, it's really important. It really, really is. So.
How much of the actual experience and like traveling do you remember?
I remember everything. Yeah.
What was it like? What did you like about it and what did you not like about it straight away?
So as I said, like I was learning on the job. So the first thing I had to get to grips was like, how do I use in-ears? Like, for those who don't know, like in-ears are like your little
like earphones, isn't it?
They're like headphones basically that plugs into the monitors and you can hear all the music and all the stuff, so you don't get lost when you're on stage. But I didn't know how to use those. I had to get to grips with that. I then had to learn how to like sing in a group. But luckily, because of my training that I did before with different choirs and stuff like that, I was comfortable with that. But it was still a challenge. I think the greatest thing I faced was believing in myself. Because little me, coming from my church background, singing to like 30 people every Sunday, to then stepping into something that is worldwide, arenas, festivals, it was really, really overwhelming. And I suffered the first tour. I really did suffer with anxiety. I did not know anything about anxiety before that tour, and that's not to say that I didn't have an amazing time, because I did, but I definitely felt like, am I good enough to be here? I was comparing myself with everyone because I just felt like I didn't have enough experience and like training and stuff. I just knew that I loved to sing and I got this amazing opportunity, and here I am with Damon Albarn telling me to sing this part and do that part, and I'm being directed by other people. I'm seeing all these amazing people, and I was just like, wow, this is a lot for me.
I feel like a lot of people get that imposter syndrome when they reach that next level, and it's like, I actually made it, but
that's true.
How do I maintain it? Or you just like, because it's such a different life you end up living so quickly.
Exactly.
And it's a very different side of yourself that you have to like develop and create. And when you're on like a year tour, a lot of the things that you're doing is away from family and friends. You're quite independent in that. So what is like the version of Petra that you became on tour, and like how is that compared to the version of Petra?
Oh, Jack.
listen, say what you have to say. Say what you can and can't say. You're not like, there's no.
No, let me not be stupid. Honestly, I learned a lot about myself. I learned how to handle temptations. I learned how to handle being professional when you're super tired. That was a struggle as well, to like maintain the professionalism like not being late and like not missing cool time at like 6 a.m. in the morning when you've got to catch a flight, but you've been partying the night before.
Literally.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
My voice as well. Like I was using my instrument like every day. So it's like the longevity of that, how to keep it, how to preserve it and stuff. Lots of emotional times, like missing my family, obviously, like I hadn't been away from them for that long. I'd done the whole uni thing, but I was able to go and come whenever I wanted to. But yeah, like being in, I don't know, Luxembourg, for example, and you've just done a show, and you're super tired and you just want to speak to your mum, and time difference, and she's sleeping and you're getting the next flight, like things like that was really difficult. But I got used to that. And the anxiety thing, man, it just took a while to believe in myself. I think that was the biggest transition for me. I think where I am now is like I believe in myself. But back then I was like
there's
learning on the job and
yeah.
just kind of faking it until I really believed it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Was that like the main thing that helped you, or did you have like someone you could always speak to? Was there
I'm super blessed. Like my support team around me is amazing. Like my best friend Sandra. Again, I was super fortunate that my best friend Angel is on the Gorillaz tour with me as well. So I had that support system as well. My dad, like my mum, who can hear downstairs. My auntie Sarah Brown, like she's incredible. And because she had done it all, she could advise me on what to do, what not to do, how to conduct myself. So I was definitely supported.
That's great. Yeah. That's important. And getting into even romantic relationships. I'll put it on me first, because I was talking at some point in my life, a long time ago. I was talking to someone who was also on tour, but it's like from the male side of it sometimes. And I was in uni, bearing in mind, I was in second year, so I was bummy. I didn't have my job. I was still like finding myself what I wanted to do. And then she was just off around the world.
Wow.
And if you're someone who's not mentally strong, there's a lot of things that's like, oh, what is she actually doing over there?
Yeah.
Like she's just sending me pictures with Miguel and some pack, like she's going. So I had some comfort in that, because she reassured me enough to the point where I can't, like, cool, I know what she's doing and she's telling me everything. We're here and there.
Yeah.
But from your side of things,
my house, my family.
No, from your side of things, when you're the person who's on tour and you're around the temptation and you're around those things, what is the challenge or what's your experience in trying to maintain those romantic relationships, or even being open to one? Like,
it's a good question. So for me, I didn't have a relationship when my first tour started, but I was single as a Pringle. So I didn't have the responsibility of looking after myself for someone else, if that makes sense. I was literally just doing me. So that was a little bit of it was a test, because now that I am free and I'm not under the watchful eye of mum and dad, I can literally do whatever I want. So just because you have the freedom doesn't mean that you have to then just go all crazy and just have no control about yourself at all. But even though that happened and things like that did happen, it's always finding yourself again and just making sure that you are balanced, focused, and you're focused, because you are there to do a job, essentially. And I think trying to find a relationship or dating while you're on tour, even though it's difficult, but it's not impossible. You know, like, especially as I've got older now, like I'm approaching my 30s, like I've seen couples that are still together when they started out when they were 18, 19
That's
touring,
crazy.
and now there's big people with children and they're still going ahead. And you know, it's just finding that person that understands what you're doing, because the same things that you're thinking, I wonder what she's up to, who she's with, who she's messing around with, I guess we're feeling the same way as well on the other side. Like, you're at home when you're tired and you just want to cuddle, who you chatting to. Do you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing.
It definitely works both ways. But when you're in your head about it a lot, you kind of forget that the other person's probably going through the same exact things. But being around actual artists and actual singers and hearing from them about the industry, how has that made you think about what it is to be an artist, how the label treats you, what it is to go on tour, how you make money? Like, how has being around that giving you more information, basically.
Yeah, so I have seen it from different angles. I've seen it from a performing side. I've seen it from a managerial side, and I have to say, like, there are different levels in this industry. And if you're thinking from a finance point of view, sometimes I feel like you're more leaning towards the performance side. If that makes sense. I'm trying to think what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, no, go on. Take your time with it. Yeah.
When you're a performer, you think about the music, you think about you on stage, but there's so much more behind that.
Yeah.
And when you see it, sometimes it can be quite, I don't want to say like dark to get too deep, but it can be.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
we hear a lot of horror stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in the industry sometimes, and sometimes you're not treated well, and a lot of it comes with education. I had to learn what I'm entitled to, what is right, what is wrong, certain things that you would sign for. You just have to be careful, like making sure that you're not getting taken the mick out of, and just being clued up, because if it's not explained to you and you don't understand, you don't know, then you just go with what they say.
And it feels like this industry is quite predatory in how it treats artists. Because there'll be terminology in contracts that you're not aware of, or just people just not wanting your best interest at heart. And making sure that they make the profit essentially of your talent.
Your talent, your time and your talent. For an example, one thing happened to me. I was very, very young at the time. My dad was actually with me. We had a contact that wanted me to do some demos for one of these artists in America. I can't remember her name now. But who's the one who did
Jordan Sparks?
Jordan Sparks. So I was doing a couple of demos for her. But the guy who was recording me, at the time I was like 15, 16.
Oh, sorry.
But he didn't give me what I was actually worth in that time. And me, silly me, I wasn't thinking money. I was just thinking
opportunity.
Oh my God, this is a great opportunity. My voice is gonna get heard. So I kind of ran with that. But like at the time, I just didn't even think, oh my God, like my time, I'm spending the whole day here. I'm doing like travel. 6-7 hours, my travel, stuff like that. So it's all of those things that you have to learn, and you have to like understand your self-worth as you get on and on in the industry. Definitely.
It often ends up being like trial and error. Until you get into that room, you get into that room, you don't know what to expect and how to maneuver those situations. Do you listen to more UK music or US music, and what genres?
At the moment, I'm listening to a good balance of UK and US. I'm really into Tiana Major.
Tiana Major.
I love her stuff. She's fantastic.
It's cool.
And then Shea Universe.
She's
love
cold.
her. So I'm really like rooting for my black girls at the moment. UK, we're just killing it. Oh God, I'm gonna sound so bad, but that girl does Paying Back Things.
Annie. Annie.
Like she's dope. Like Georgia Smith and like Neo, and I'm just such a fan of my black girls just doing their UK thing at the moment, and the guys right behind them. Like my musical ear is not in tune with every current current UK grime artist or anything like that. Like, but listening to like Josh's tastes and like other stuff that I will hear on my shuffle or something like that, I am really inspired, and it makes me smile. Like it's sick. UK is really doing our thing right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more bubbling up.
Especially the wave of like Afro beats into like commercial pop and stuff like that. That's been really cool. And US stuff, I'm a huge fan of a lot of US vocalists. I love them. I'm really listening to her at the moment. I think she's fantastic.
No, she's one of my favourite R&B artists right now.
Like she's just killing it. She's just really been on top of her game for a long time. And like new faces like Summer Walker, for example, Big fan of Ari as well.
Yeah, Ari Lennox. I think she has a new album coming out soon.
She's got
actually.
a new EP out. It's really nice, actually.
I have to ask this question just because you're around them, but like, you're on the circuit, you're around a lot of vocalists, so naturally you have a very high respect for who can sing and who can't sing, or just an understanding. How, like, without naming any names, the people who are, you say, maybe more popular, how many of them do you think can actually sing? Because, like, from me, I'm not deeper in the whole vocalist who's actually singing live who has auto-tune.
Yeah.
But you have, like, a niche perspective on who's doing what.
Actual vocalists.
Yeah.
This is the thing, like, I think now the attention isn't so much on just the vocal, it's the package. It's the being able to sing and dance. It's being able to, like, produce or be a TV favourite that people can just go, oh, I love her personality. Like Doja Cat, for example, like she's just incredible. She's an amazing performer. Live vocal, I'm not too sure. For example, like I don't know, I've never seen her live, but I know she normally does her rapping and stuff like that, and she's sick. Like, she's a great producer as well. So it's like all of those things, but I'm talking, okay, vocal.
Just say who you rate instead of who you wouldn't naturally rate.
Okay, so first of all, I mean, I said her name, but her is amazing. Ari is fantastic. I'm trying to think of other people that I've seen live. I mean, legend Erica, she was outstanding when I saw her, can't lie. People like Thundercats as well, like I wouldn't say like he's a vocalist, but he's sick. Like, he's found his sound, and it's like when you hear it live, sick. Yeah,
some people know how to use their voice, not necessarily like vocalists, but it matches the music and the sound that they're making.
Exactly. There's some shockers.
You know, I just see the clips on Twitter sometimes. Like, people would get exposed on Twitter, and it's like, oh, this is bad.
This is bad. Shockers. I don't want to name any names, but there's some shockers, and it's just like, how are you making millions and millions? Like, I just don't get it. But but again, it's the whole package. It's not just, it doesn't come down to the vocal. It comes down to the whole package.
And I was thinking about this a bit more in coming to speak to you about this, and it's a bit more UK based, and it might speak to like how you see trajectory as a singer and that type of thing. But I noticed in trying to think of more UK singers, the predominantly, a lot of them are light skinned. Like, you have, I can name Georgia Smith, Pit Malay, Ella May, Corinne Bailey Ray. Like, a lot of the girls who are singers in R&B tend to be light skinned. And then when I think of dark skinned girls, it's maybe Neo, Ray Black, and Asa from like 10 years ago with her tune I Feel. Have you faced anything that feels like your judgment or how you're being perceived and how you're being elevated isn't necessarily to do with your talent, but how you look?
Good question. I've been very fortunate that I was able to be myself, and whenever I got jobs, I had the whole kind of gospel choir, black-esque kind of vibe anyway, so I never had to like downplay that or anything. There was a situation where I didn't get casted for a job because they had too many black vocalists, and they wanted to bring what's that word I'm looking for? Like, they wanted it to be equal, so like white, black, diverse. Diverse. That's the word. They wanted it to be diverse, and that. I think that was the only time I didn't get the job because I was black. And it felt weird. It felt very weird. It was just like, but you want the sound.
Best.
But you're doing that, so it's like, okay, cool. Like, you know what, on to the next. But I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. Take it.
But yeah, so I was just kind of like,
taken aback.
I was taken aback a bit. I was just kind of like, right, like, okay, fine. That was the only time though. But I guess it goes more down to like personal style.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they do say to you like, you know, don't have afro.
Oh yeah.
Have straight.
I was gonna ask you, like, even like when you get hair and makeup sometimes.
Yeah.
Can they do your, like, is there I don't know how to do your hair, or is it, because I hear smaller things about that in, especially like the fashion industry.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say like the fashion is way more
Yeah.
intense. Like I've never really had someone say to me like you can't do this or you can't do that. Only when it's a collective, like something for like Brit Awards for example, there are specific rules that they don't want certain things like jewelry and big hair, or sometimes they just want straight or like hair back, and so you have to always follow the brief because that's what the client wants. But yeah, I've been really fortunate that people that I've worked with has always accepted me for what I am. Like even my piercings, it's not a thing. Like if they say can you please remove them, I'm like yeah sure, no problem. But I've never really been faced with that.
Oh, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does actually. But I always make it a point to still be me. Yeah. Like I might have a huge big wig on one week and then I'll come and I'll have braids or I'll have my locks in or I'll have my natural puff, and it's just kind of like I like being able to do that. That's black girl magic. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you have to be yourself at the end of the day. It's just not going to work. Always. What do you see your next steps being? Like what do you want to do next in the industry? I would love to continue to do what I'm doing. I love touring, I love backing vocaling, I love all of that. I do want to step into the writing now. I really do feel like now is my time to just take up the pen and just get busy. Definitely. And again, not to chase the artistry thing, but just to connect with people and just to see like what my own writing looks like, what my sound sounds like, and see who's actually interested into like working with it and developing it into something. I think that would be really cool. I really want to get into therapy as well, like music therapy. I think that the idea of touring is fantastic, but sometimes it's mentally taxing. And when you're out there, sometimes you don't have a support. And just be able to do it professionally and actually help someone while they're on tour with music therapy would be amazing. So that's something that I really want to do in the next, like, I don't know, 5 years. That's cool. And you have the actual experience of being on tour and being there and being able to relate literally on a level with what it is to have those fears, the anxiety, that separation. Separately, I've been watching The Sopranos and it makes me want to have therapy now. Have you heard of The Sopranos? I haven't seen it yet. It's like therapy. I feel like it's something you should do even when you're well. I'm dying to do some bloody therapy. Literally, like I'm making sure that by the end of the year, at least have something booked and just get into it. Because we all have a lot of stuff to offload. And just like unpack and get into on a deeper level. All right, I've got some quick fire questions for you, man. Okay. I don't want you to take too long thinking about these. Okay. Alright, are you ready? Okay. Best crowds you've experienced? Ooh, okay. Recently, Ireland, fantastic. You know what, the Irish seem like the mad heads. Are fantastic. They love a good night out. Love it. Intimate venue or an arena with thousands of people? What would you rather perform? Right now, I'm gonna say arena. Yeah. What is that energy like? This is not in the question, but what is that energy when you can just hear the whole crowd like sing back to you? It's like you feel it in your chest. Like you feel like, I don't know, like 20,000 people all roaring at the same time. It's like static electricity. Like it's just crazy. It's a different feeling. It's a different energy. And then to be able to step on stage and perform songs that I love and that I've been singing ever since I was a child. Like it's just amazing. It's always, I always say this to the band, like I'm always like, it's mad because I've been singing these songs for the past 5 years now and I'm not tired of them. Like every time we do them or every time we do a little run or whatever and we're doing it like back to back, I just have the best time because I love the music. Like it's sick. It's a different feeling.
What is one song you wish you'd written?
Okay, if I'm thinking of Gorillaz, it's a song called Fireflies.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Why that song?
It's a piece of art. Like, it's just a piece of art.
It just speaks to you on the level.
Yeah, like it's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. The words, the music, the atmosphere on the track, like it is, it's incredible.
Biggest influence on your style of singing?
I would have to say Jill Scott.
Yeah?
And India Ari.
No, I love Jill Scott. That whole like neo soul era. Yeah.
And I would also have to say Evanescence as well, the lead singer. I really should remember her name right now. But when I was growing up, I was a bit of a rock chickie-esque.
Kind of, bit of grunge.
Yeah, a little bit of grunge. Yeah, that was definitely me.
Yeah.
And I just, her voice is just incredible, and I'm so stupid for not remembering her name right now. But yeah, she was incredible,
Okay. The next three, because you've sampled quite a bit of both now at this point. Caribbean or African music? You have to include dancehall, soca, reggae with Afrobeats, Amapiano. Listen, I'm here to ask the tough questions.
My God.
That is what I'm here to do.
You're literally ripping both parts of me, like, right now, like...
No, there's two more that's going to do the same. So let's just get in the flow of things now.
We're going to be here all night.
No, pick one. The one that you thought of first when I asked the question.
Oh, God. Because...
You're going to explain yourself into a...
Okay, fine.
You can say sorry to her, but afterwards, you can apologise.
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer right now.
I can then say either one then.
I hate you for doing this to me. I feel like there's a weight on my chest. Alright, I'm going to go with Caribbean.
Okay, you're waving the flag today.
Yeah, I am.
Before you get flogged.
That is me at my core.
Yeah?
It is. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not lying about that.
Caribbean or African food?
Caribbean.
Caribbean or African men?
Hey!
We're getting to the bottom of everything. We're getting to the bottom of everything today. Yeah, for real.
Hey.
That's an African response, by the way.
I am so as well. That's why you ripped my heart out when you asked me that question.
No, really.
I love and breathe Amapiano. Are you joking? Okay.
The essays are shaking their head right now. It's so disappointing.
Caribbean or African men? I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. Haven't really dated a lot of Caribbean men.
Oh, then there's only one answer, surely. Like, if you haven't bothered.
What do you mean bothered?
You could have.
I'm still waiting, babe. I'm not gonna lie to you, but okay, for the sake of this question, I will say Af men.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for the mandem out there still.
Okay. Wow.
One place you'd like to visit that you haven't already?
Oh, such a good question. Sri Lanka.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why Sri Lanka?
Just because I don't think I would go there for music. And I think it's such a beautiful place. It reminds me of the Caribbean. First of all, Sri Lankan food is buff.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Like,
some of the best cuisine.
Some of it's amazing. And they've got beautiful beaches and just I'd like to experience different cultures, and I think Sri Lanka would just be amazing to experience.
I hear that. A couple months ago, they were beefing the president, so hopefully everything's tightened up soon after that. But yeah, and the last one, 3 words to describe how you'd like to be remembered.
That's really emotional. I would like to be remembered as someone who is loving. I know that's a bit like cliche, but I genuinely give my heart and my soul, and I love to love, and that's something that I want people to remember. I want to be remembered as a great vocalist as well, someone who had the passion, someone who had the energy, always rang that good vibe when it came to vocals and stuff. And the last one, don't know really. Yeah, I haven't thought that far. But just to be reminded as a really nice person, I guess. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
thank you for talking to me today.
Thank you for having me. This is an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I feel like you were really prepared with your questions.
No, I did. I've been thinking about this.
You came hard. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very impressed.
No, anytime.
Yeah.
And hopefully look back on this, maybe do another one.
I find it really funny that I haven't looked at the camera once.
No, it's better that way.
But,
sometimes it gets a bit intense.
Yeah.
Where are you going on tour next?
America.
America? 6 months?
No, not 6 months, just 6 weeks.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad if you're packed and ready to go, but...
I won't bait you out about the situation right now. But
yeah.
no. Enjoy your tour.
Thank you.
And thank you for this talk.